last year?
I was not. 2 years ago, I was sound and tech. I was in charge of putting this on people, not putting them on.
You get used to it. But it's funny because we all had like super bright lipstick for sure.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Nay.
Are we good with this mic? Okay.
Guys, just take this all calmly and clearly.
All right,
Right.
so we're gonna start by reviewing some of the rules, and then we will start with the questions. So just a review of the rules. There's a team captain for each team, and we have Simon for Mountain View, and we have Josiah for BAIS. So the teams, the team on the left will answer the odd questions, and the team on the right will answer the even questions. Teams will have 30 seconds to discuss their answers, and after the 30 seconds, they will have to give their answer. The teams will have a 5-second warning, and after their 5-second warning, they will have to give their answer. If the teams are incorrect, they won't be penalized, but they also will not receive points for their questions. Teams receive 10 points for a correct title and 5 points for a correct author. If the team gives an incorrect answer, the opposing team gets a chance to steal the question, and they can steal and earn the full 15 points. There are 40 questions per battle, and we will do, or per round, and we'll do 2 full rounds. There will be a point update after 20 questions. So there will be 3 point updates and then a final score. If there is a question that is incorrect, you are allowed, and you feel like you have given a correct answer, you're allowed to challenge that question. But you're only allowed to challenge your own question. You're not allowed to challenge a stolen question. If you would like to challenge a question, you can state that you want it challenged. We'll make a note of that, and we will give you time to explain your challenge at a point update. Giving answers, a slightly mispronounced title or author is acceptable as long as we can understand what you're saying. Giving only the last name of an author is acceptable, but not only the first name of an author is acceptable. So I think that's it. Do you guys have any questions?
Only the last name, right? Last name is acceptable as well.
That's correct.
Just last name. Don't do just first
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Right, guys?
All right.
Guys, for
Okay,
us.
so maybe can we have someone volunteer to pray to start us off? Yeah. Oh, no, you can pray. Yeah, sure, that'd be great, Calvin.
God, our Father, we thank you for language and for stories. We thank you for the best story of all, the gospel, that Jesus came and lived and died and rose from the dead and ascended into heaven for the salvation of his people. And I pray that you will be honored in this and that we will be blessed and have a fun time. We ask these things in Jesus' name.
All right, let's get started. So we will start with Mountain View.
Ethos species.
Is it already turned on?
It's already on. Green? Is it green? Nope.
All right, good to go.
Oh man, I should just turned it off. And just I didn't know it was on.
All right, Mountain View. Your first question is, in what book do characters try to make a key to escape from a prison cell?
Lincoln's Grave Robbers by Sheinkin.
Correct. BAIS. In what book does the main character wish time and again for one decent cooking pot?
Can you repeat the question, please?
In what book does the main character wish time and again for one decent cooking pot?
Oh, wasn't it? I think it might be Bamboo People because it sounds like Oh, yeah. Song by Anne McCaffrey. Dragon Song by Anne McCaffrey.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book does someone envy a small black insect that could hide itself inside its hard shell?
Kidnapped by Dortzbach.
Correct. BAIS. In what book does a character walk through a valley of grapes?
Esperanza Rising by Palm Munoz Ryan.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book does a character have both English and Spanish ancestry?
Mary, Bloody Mary.
Mary Bloody Mary by Meyer.
Correct. BAIS. In what book is a character unable to find the correct medicine for his illness?
It could be Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but it cannot be Drums, Girls, Dangerous Pie. Yeah, so Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book does a pair of empty sandals swinging from a walking stick signify a tragedy?
It's either Bamboo People or Kidnapped. Okay, walking stick, sandals hanging on it.
Kidnapped by who? Kidnapped by Dortzbach.
Correct. BAIS. In what book does a character have a confusing conversation with twins?
Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book does a bartender keep his pet, a snake, in a box on the bar?
Lincoln's Grave Robbers by Sheinkin. Lincoln's Grave Robbers by Sheinkin.
Correct. BAIS. In what book does the main character use a cactus leaf for toilet paper?
Kidnapped by Dortzbach.
Isn't it Kidnapped? No, because that's the only possible book past cactus. So much disgusting. It could be Esperanza Rising or Kidnapped, but it's called Kidnapped. Kidnapped by Carl and Debbie Dortzbach.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book does a character say he'll never forget the events of the day, even if he lives to be 179?
Do you want me to repeat the question?
Can you repeat the question?
In what book does a character say he'll never forget the events of the day, even if he lives to be 179?
Okay, guys, we got this. Yeah, but I don't know which one.
5 seconds.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Stevenson.
Incorrect.
Drums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie by Jordan Sonnenblick.
Correct.
It's okay, guys, we got this.
BAIS. In what book does a character throw a Sorry, let me repeat. In what book does a character throw a PE helmet and a therapeutic bear into a dumpster after realizing those things aren't things most people have?
100 Covers by N.D. Wilson.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book does a character have 13 dolls lined up on her dresser, one for each birthday?
Esperanza Rising by Ryan.
Correct. BAIS. In what book did a trial rest on the testimony of a known thief?
Lincoln's Grave Robbers by Steve Shankin.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book does a character mistake the word cat for spoon?
Yeah, I know. Bamboo.
Bamboo People by Perkins.
Correct. BAIS. In what book does a character's grandfather give crushing handshakes and call the main character by the nickname Muscles?
Drums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie by Jordan Sonnenblick.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book does a character learn about some unusual insects?
Think about it. Yeah. Wonderland. I think probably it could be.
Can you repeat the question?
In what book does a character learn about some unusual insects?
5 seconds.
Through the Looking Glass by Carol.
Correct. BAIS. In what book is a character executed mercifully by not being burned nor killed by the headman's axe?
Mary Bloody Mary by Carolyn Meyer.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book does a character's butler seek help for his master from another character?
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Stevenson.
Correct. BAIS. In what book does a girl hide behind tall crates so that others will not find her?
It is Esperanza Rising. Esperanza Rising by Pam Munoz Ryan.
Correct. Alright, so that's 20 questions. And we will give a point update
30.
as there were no challenges.
Or if they miss it, they don't get any points.
Alright, so Mountain View is at 135 and BAIS is at 165. Okay, so we will continue with the next set of...
Sorry, the score again.
Sure. Mountain View is at 135 and BAIS is at 165. Okay, so we'll go on with the next 20 questions, and then we'll take a break after the next 20 questions.
Yeah, you got this, guys. It's okay.
All right, Mountain View. In what book do characters hum with delight while being massaged with oil?
Dragon Song by McCaffrey.
Correct. BAIS. In what book does a character dream of a large black dog?
100 Cupboards by N.D. Wilson.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book do characters eat bread and plum cake?
Through the Looking Glass by Carol.
Correct. BAIS. In what book do newspapers call a character a draft dodger?
Can you please repeat the question?
In what book do newspapers call a character a draft dodger?
It has to be Lincoln's Grave Robbers, though. That's the only possible choice that has in here.
5 seconds.
Lincoln's Grave Robbers. Lincoln's Grave Robbers by Steve Shankin.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book is a character told that the best snow cones are on the 3rd floor of the building?
Drums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie by Sonnenblick.
Correct. BAIS. In what book does mist conceal the actions of a character?
It could be Stevenson. It could be Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's Hyde. It's not Mary. It's dragons. It could be dragons.
5 seconds.
Okay, we'll go with Lincoln's Grave Robbers. Lincoln's Grave Robbers by Steve Shankin.
Incorrect.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Stevenson.
Incorrect. Mountain View. In what book does a girl manipulate a boy by pointing out that she, a small girl, is brave, while he, a bigger boy, is not?
100 Cupboards by Wilson.
Correct. BAIS. In what book does the main character plan to drug his or her guards?
Mary Bloody Mary. Mary Bloody Mary by Carolyn Meyer.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book is a character's appearance pale, dwarfish, and deformed?
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Stevenson.
Correct. BAIS. In what book does a character repeatedly get jabbed in the ribs from both sides to help pay attention?
Drums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie by Jordan Sonnenblick.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book is a horse stable a front just to make it appear to the world that certain characters were businessmen, when in fact that was not their true profession?
Lincoln's Grave Robbers by Shankin.
Correct. BAIS. In what book is the main character overwhelmed with feelings of hunger after watching a birth?
There's Mary Bloody. Dragon Song by Anne McCaffrey.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book do rice paddies and coconut trees line the road?
Repeat the question.
In what book do rice paddies and coconut trees line the road?
5 seconds.
Bamboo People by Perkins.
Correct. BAIS. In what book does a character describe many inventions, most of which are very impractical, that he had thought up?
Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll.
Correct.
Good job, guys. Good job, guys. Guys,
Mountain View.
keep this up, guys.
In what book does a character have a trained pet bird?
Mary Bloody Mary by Meyer.
Correct. BAIS. In what book does a cat sit on a boy's chest while the boy sleeps to protect him from another cat?
100 Cupboards by N.D. Wilson.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book do a grandmother and granddaughter reunite at a train station?
Esperanza Rising by Ryan.
Correct. BAIS. In what book is a murder described as a tactical mistake?
It could be either of those two. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson.
Incorrect.
Kidnapped by Dortzbach?
Correct.
You read this book, didn't you? Oh, it's okay.
Mountain
It's okay,
View.
guys. We're tied now.
In what book does a character fall down the stairs and get injured?
Alright, we know this.
Drum Scrolls and Dangerous Pie by Sonnenblick?
Correct. BAIS. In what book does a character think that another character is being negatively affected because of a past sin that he has committed?
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. It has to be Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Which is Dr. Because probably. It's like negative. Guys. Okay. We'll wait for 5 seconds. Does anyone have any other? You guys have another idea?
5 seconds.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson.
Correct. All right, that's the end of that 20 questions.
We're tied now, guys.
All right, so the score update is that Mountain View is 300 points and BAIS is 285 points. Okay, so we're gonna take a 5-minute break, and
It's
you
okay, guys.
can
Guys,
use the restroom, drink some water, and come back for.
it's okay. Yeah. Okay. The thing is, guys. It's okay, guys. We got this. Just calm down a little bit. Yeah. Which would mean that we're 15 points above.
Do you have anti-stress?
If because
Like,
if we get a steal, we're tied. If we get the steal, we're tied. If they miss it, we don't answer it. We can't steal it. Yeah, I can.
They're not going to break up the Facebook chat, and I really want to see what
Guys, it's okay. We got this, guys. We got this.
Testing 1, 2, 3, derp. For a little bit while they were doing the question, I was singing Pen Pineapple.
Hey guys, next time let's think about the
Simon.
yes.
Hi, Elise. Hi, Elise. Mom and Dad. watch this YouTube. Yeah, Facebook and MySpace, guys. Yes, Twitter. My Twitter username is @123ABC123. Those are the only letters and numbers I know. I learned English from speech as given by inaugural presidents. Oh, I said that you have a girlfriend already. Yeah, because you're like, who's that? Either my girlfriend or like somebody that ran ESOC. I'm like, oh, Mr. Spangler has a girlfriend. It's okay. I don't have one either. Sorry. If my girlfriend did hear that, I don't have a girlfriend. But if my parents heard that, I don't have a girlfriend. Did I say don't both times? I didn't mean to say don't the first time. Hi, baby. No, I don't actually have a girlfriend. But like maybe someday she'll watch this and it'll be like, whoa, you said that just for me? Yeah. And I'm ruining it now by saying all this stuff. So sorry. Is it too late now to say sorry? Yeah. Okay. That's it. True. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, I like super filled. I just sang like Justin Bieber sorry on I did. I read it 3 times. I read it. It's such a
Get going.
Derp, derp, derp. Kidnapped is a dumb book. Derp, derp. Please correct your punctuation. Yeah. For him.
Alright, so what's your guys' team name? Hard carry. Hard carry? Okay. We got paper clips over here. So always great name.
We should have done your mom.
Paper cut. I used to be a reader like you, then I got a paper cut.
Where's your paper clip?
Once
Where's
upon a
yours?
time, Annie told me a story, and it was really great.
It's okay.
The
It's okay.
end.
This cracks me up.
Guys, this is for Wi-Fi connection.
Guys.
1, 2, 3, terp.
All right. Round 2. Mountain View. First question. In what book does a man stay in bed though he hears thumping sounds coming from the floor above him?
Okay. I think that one. Wait. Is the uncle and auntie's room below them?
100 Cupboards by Wilson.
Correct. BAIS.
The man.
In what book is the site of a plantation located on an old map?
It's not Mary. Kidnapped by Carl and Debbie Dortzbach.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book does a character hear poems about fish?
Through the Looking Glass by Carol.
Correct.
Guys, I said class, not class.
BAIS. In what book is a character an expert engraver?
Engraving. Lincoln's Grave Robber by Steve Shankin.
Correct.
I said
Mountain
S.
View.
Implied.
In what book does the story of escaping thieves in childhood bring comfort to the main character?
Esperanza Rising by Ryan.
Correct. BAIS. In what book was a character given a special nickname because he or she liked to sleep all the time?
Oh, is it Dragon Song? Is it one of them? Sleepy? Yeah. Is it Dragon Song by because she's always sleepy. The dragon is named, I think, Sleepy. One of them.
5 seconds.
Dragon Song by Anne McCaffrey.
Correct. Mountain View.
Just kidding.
In what book does a character change his or her siblings' diapers?
Okay.
Mary Bloody Mary by Meyer.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
BAIS.
Actually.
In what book does a character own one porcelain plate?
It could be his brother. Remember people may tell me. Bamboo People. Bamboo People by Perkins.
Correct. Mountain View.
Melody.
In what book is a character denied entrance to a house because of a minor illness?
Drums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie by Sonnenblick.
Correct. BAIS. In what book does a father instruct his children to scrub the bones, meaning brush their teeth?
100 Cupboards by N.D. Wilson.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book does a character take Sunday afternoon walks with a relative?
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Stevenson.
Correct. BAIS. In what book do blooming flowers remind the main character of his or her father?
Esperanza Rising by Palm Munoz Ryan.
Correct.
I didn't read it, but I still do. This one's so pretty.
Mountain View. In what book is it in order to not have green things growing near dwellings?
Can you repeat the question, please?
In what book is it in smoothing her hair, lending her a nightcap, and singing her a lullaby?
Through Looking Glass by Anne McCaffrey. No, Through Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book does the main character inherit a relic containing a piece of the true cross?
I think.
Mary Bloody Mary by Meyer.
Correct.
Yeah.
BAIS. In what book is a newspaper used to hide a book?
Oh, yeah. Bamboo People by Melody Perkins. Bamboo People by Melody Perkins. Bamboo People by Melody Perkins.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book does the clap of shoe soles on marble seem like... Sorry, let me repeat. In what book does the clap of shoe soles on marble seem to echo like thunder?
What book does the sound
Lincoln's Grave Robbers by Sheinkin.
Correct. BAIS. In what book does music announce the arrival of a meal?
Music. Arrival of a meal. Music. Music arrival. Can you repeat the question, please?
In what book does music announce the arrival of a meal?
Mary Bloody Mary does. Through Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. Yeah. Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll.
Incorrect.
Dragon Song by Anne McCaffrey.
Incorrect. Mountain View. In what book were hands and feet washed by scraping them in the dirt?
Can you repeat the question?
In what book were hands and feet washed by scraping them in the dirt?
Kidnapped by Dortzbach?
Correct. BAIS. In what book does a character get upset about the terms of a will in his possession?
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson.
Correct.
15 points.
Okay, so the point update after these questions is Mountain View is 435 and BAIS is 420.
Yeah.
Okay, so a
You got this,
difference
guys.
of one question.
Yeah, one steal.
All right, so we have 20
Yeah.
questions left, and then that will be the end, unless it's a tiebreaker. And then we'll have a shootout. No, just tiebreaker.
Guys, I know how to shoot a gun if there is a shootout.
Okay. All right, the next question is for Mountain View. In what book is a character a very bad horse rider who frequently falls off?
Through the Looking Glass by Carol?
Correct. BAIS. In what book do two characters make a game out of predicting the emotion of visitors?
Oh, yeah. Drums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie by Jordan Sonnenblick. Okay. Drums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie by Jordan Sonnenblick.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book do three siblings share a room despite living in a big house with plenty of rooms?
100 Covers by Wilson.
Correct. BAIS. In what book does a character learn how to sail so he can search coves that are farther away?
Dragon Song by Anne McCaffrey.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book is a character given instructions to obey and not to anger another character in a letter?
Can you repeat the question?
In what book is a character given instructions to obey and not to anger another character in a letter?
Mary Bloody Mary by Meyer.
Correct. BAIS. In what book is a character surprised to see a large army running clumsily through the woods?
The Looking Glass by. Remember when they. Humpty Dumpty. Okay. Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. I was just gonna say Carroll. Through the Looking Glass by Carroll.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book does a character use a mixture of avocado and glycerin to make a lotion which makes his or her hands soft?
Esperanza Rising by Ryan.
Correct. BAIS. In what book does a person on one side of a disagreement refuse to bargain or negotiate?
Can you please repeat the question?
In what book does a person on one side of a disagreement refuse to bargain or negotiate?
Could be. What else? Could be.
5 seconds.
Mary Bloody. We'll do Mary Bloody Mary. Mary Bloody Mary by Meyer.
Incorrect.
Kidnapped by Dortzbach.
That is correct.
Dang.
Mountain View. In what book do two characters chat while eating papaya?
Bamboo People by Perkins.
Correct. BAIS. In what book did two characters pay a 25-cent admission fee?
Okay. Lincoln's Grave Robbers. The Monument. Lincoln's Grave Robbers name. Lincoln's Grave Robbers by Schenken.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book does a character decide to live a life of seclusion in his house?
Can you repeat the question?
In what book does a character decide to live a life of seclusion in his house?
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Stevenson.
That's correct. BAIS. In what book does a character write a letter to another character asking him to break into a room of his own house?
No, it's Dr. Jekyll.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book does a character describe his own face as feeling thick and hot?
Chums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie by Sonnenblick.
Correct. BAIS. In what book are many characters' eyes often described as whirling?
Can you please repeat the question?
In what book are many characters' eyes often described as whirling?
It sounds like Dragon Song. Dragon Song by Anne McCaffrey. Dragon Song by Anne McCaffrey.
Dragon Song by Anne McCaffrey.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book do characters climb ladders to get into houses?
Bamboo People by Perkins.
That is correct.
It's okay, guys.
BAIS. In what book does a daughter give her mother a stone for a Christmas gift?
Esperanza Rising. Esperanza Rising. It is. Esperanza Rising.
Esperanza Rising by Palm Munoz Ryan.
Correct. Mountain View. In what book does the gift of a lamb bring about a surprising statement?
Kidnapped by Dortzbach.
Correct. BAIS. In what book do characters make up a story to explain their injuries to the nurses and doctors at the hospital?
Can you please repeat the question?
In what book do characters make up a story to explain their injuries to the nurses and doctors at the hospital?
Kidnapped by Dortzbach.
Incorrect.
100 Cupboards by Wilson.
Correct. Mountain View.
It's okay, guys.
In what book does a father lie about his daughter's identity because he's embarrassed that she is a girl?
Dragon Song by Anne McCaffrey.
Correct.
I thought it was gonna be
BAIS. In what book does a character return a photo in exchange for the real thing?
Yeah. Bamboo People by Perkins.
Bamboo People by Perkins.
That is correct.
Good job, guys.
All right, and that is the end of the questions. So, okay, so thank you for working hard, and as Mrs. Nielsen always says, you guys remember an amazing amount of facts in your head, like the littlest details. As I read the questions, I'm always like, where did that happen in the book? I don't even remember. So really good job. You guys worked really hard. So I just wanted to say that before I announce the final scores. So the final score is Mountain View is 615 points and BAIS is 540 points. So good job, Mountain View. So, yes.
And it was all tied up 4-4.
Let's see. Josiah, as the team captain, can you pass that over to Simon as the team captain? Go right ahead.
Thank you. Thank you.
hold this for a second. My ears.
Go ahead and stand together. Go ahead. Not in a straight line. You're not getting like executed or anything. Ah, there you go.
Okay, coaches.
Yeah, like all the kids are taller than me. Look at this one.
After 2 years of defeat, now we're bringing together.
If you get you know how many points you get if you got all of your questions correct? 600. So you got 600.